Hello and welcome to the lecture on infrared spectroscopy. Last time we have seen the types of molecular vibrations and the frequencies associated with them. So, stretching has got more frequency or it requires more energy than bending and so on. Today we will see the characteristic table of functional group against frequency and then factors influencing the stretching frequencies in the IR spectroscopy. So, starting with OH, if it is free OH, then it is expected to be 3600 reciprocal of centimeters. If it is bonded, then naturally bonding will cause weakening of the bond and therefore, it will be less. These are standard values. Some deviation would be there based upon the factors influencing the frequencies. OH is 34 to 3600, NH or this terminal alkyne is 3300, CH stretching is 3000, aldehydic CH is 2700, CN is C triple bond N stretching 2250, C triple bond C of unsymmetrical alkyne is 2100, symmetrical is IR inactive. C double bond C of aromatic will show two peaks, one at 1600, the other one at 1500 reciprocal of centimeters. CO of aldehyde, carbonyl group of aldehyde is 1745, ketones 1720, acid 1725, esters 1735 reciprocal of centimeters. Anhydride shows two peaks because of the coupled interaction, one at 1850 and the other one at 1745. Amides 1680 because of the resonance effect. C single bond O is 1100, C single bond C is 1300. NO2 will show two peaks, one for N double bond O, other one for N single bond O, 1530, 1350. CH bending 690 to 990 depending upon where it is there. It may be aromatic region, the aromatic compounds as well as the olefinic compounds. OH of acid will show 25 to 3200 broad because of the dimerization. CCl is 750, Ci is slightly less and Cf is around 900. These are standard values and we expect some deviation from these values depending upon the structures. Now, the important part of the topic, that is factors influencing carbonyl stretching, the stretching frequencies in infrared region. So, what are the factors? So, some examples I have written, we will write some more examples this side also. Once the examples are done, then we will look at the numericals. Inductive effect, as you know, the inductive effect is one of the factor which can influence the carbonyl stretching frequency in the ketones. So, 1710 for saturated ketone and the values, because low, because both the methyls are exerting plus I effect. So, plus I effect decreases the carbonyl stretching frequency. On the contrary, if I look at this 1745. So, once we replace one methyl with hydrogen, the stretching frequency goes high. That means the magnitude of plus I effect is reduced if you go from acetone to acetaldehyde. And on the other side, if you attach electron withdrawing groups, then naturally because of this there will be, now this is minus I effect. Minus I effect will cause the hike in carbonyl stretching frequency. Since the electrons are flowing in this direction, the carbonyl double bond will be contracted or it undergo contraction. The bond length is reduced and frequency goes high. The magnitude of minus I effect is maximum here, or it is more than this, and you can see the enhancement in the carbonyl stretching frequency. As the magnitude of minus I effect increases, the frequency will go to the higher side. As the magnitude of plus I effect increases, carbonyl stretching frequency will fall. So that is the normal correlation. So minus I effect increases the carbonyl stretching frequency. I will put some different examples for the sake of illustration. Now this ketone which is having fluorine groups attached to carbonyl group directly, the carbonyl stretching frequency is very high. The inductive effect is maximum here because fluorine atoms are directly attached to the carbonyl group, whereas in that case fluorine atom is attached to a carbon which is intervening between the carbonyl and this carbon. So that intervening carbon is there, and that's why magnitude is less. Here it is directly attached, so it will be maximum, and as you know, electronegativity of fluorine is more, naturally the minus I effect would be maximum. And as we know that if you go away from the carbonyl group, and if the distance from the carbonyl of the halogen decreases or increases rather, I will just put if alpha, beta, gamma. So if the halogen goes away from the carbonyl group, the magnitude of minus I effect falls, and naturally it will be seen in terms of the carbonyl stretching frequency. Carbonyl is the group where you can see this effect more. Then second one is resonance. As you know, resonance causes decrease in carbonyl stretching frequency. I am taking one aromatic ketone here. If I show the resonance effect, the delocalization of electrons, then you can see that so electron withdrawing group ketone will exert this kind of effect, and electrons will flow from aromatic ring to carbonyl group, and as a consequence of it, you can see that double bond is becoming single bond. So strength of carbonyl group would be high if it is receiving electrons, and in this case the bond order is dropping from 2 to 1. So naturally it is causing a problem, and this carbonyl will be around 1695 to 1700. 1700 would be the appropriate number. So the ordinary ketone will be 1750 to 1720, that 20 reciprocal of centimeter decrement is because of the resonance effect. Now this resonance effect can be seen in various compounds, wherein aromatic ring is one of the thing. The other one is you can have this kind of, in this case also you can show the same delocalization. So wherever conjugation is there, you can see that the electrons are moving, and then the bond order of carbonyl drops, and ultimately its stretching frequency also falls accordingly. So resonance effect in all examples will cause drop in the stretching frequency. Another example which is interesting here, I will show two examples, rather like two for comparison. Two compounds we are taking. I will draw the these two compounds. Carbonyl stretching frequency we are talking about. This is 17, 10 to 15, and this is going to be 1768. Now these two compounds are positional isomers. This one is methyl benzoate, this one is phenyl acetate. Now in this case you can show the normal resonance. In this case it is reverse conjugation. So reverse conjugation can cause hike in carbonyl stretching frequency because the electrons are moving here. There will be contraction of this bond. So that is the reason for the hike in carbonyl stretching frequency. This is normal resonance which is causing the decrement or decrease in the carbonyl stretching frequency. Okay. Third factor is hydrogen bonding. Now there are two types of hydrogen bonds. One is intramolecular, which is happening within the molecule, and the other one is intermolecular. Now intermolecular, there are so many examples. The best example is water, minus delta plus delta minus delta plus delta and so on. So this is the intermolecular hydrogen bond. Intermolecular because it is between two different molecules, so that is intermolecular. This is intramolecular. Intramolecular, that is happening within the molecule. So the IR spectroscopy differentiate between these two type of hydrogen bonds, and basically hydrogen bonding will cause decrease in the carbonyl stretching frequency as well as hydroxyl stretching frequency in this compound. Carbonyl stretching frequency is 1660, which is quite less, and here it is 1695 because this molecule can interact with another molecule, but there is no intramolecular hydrogen bonding as such exist in this compound. So the distinction point is this hydrogen bond, the intramolecular hydrogen bond, persists even after dilution, and this will give a very sharp band in infrared spectrum, whereas the intermolecular will show a broad band or broad band, you can say, or broad peak in the infrared spectrum. The other peculiar example is the acid OH. Now acid OH shows a broad region from 2500 to 3200 reciprocal of centimeter. Now that broad peak is mainly because of the dimerization. You can see that this is one acid molecule, this is another acid molecule, and you can see the chelation, dimer formation is there, and because of this kind of interlocking, the OH stretching frequency of this is happening between 22 to 3200, and this is going to be a broad peak, very broad peak, and that is peculiar peak which is expected in acids, organic acid to be precise. Okay. Now three more things are there. Coupled interactions. Now coupled interactions, this has got a background of physics, Hooke's law of elasticity and all we have seen. Coupled interaction is from the rigid rotators, the physics concepts are there. Now in this case what happen is we are working with anhydride, let us say. Now this oxygen is common. There are two ester groups. So whenever a common atom is shared by two oscillators or two functional groups, then this kind of interaction is seen, which is known as coupled interaction. So normally what you can show is, I will just show it on the top. if this oxygen lone pair delocalize in this carbonyl group, left hand side carbonyl group, then you can see that this oxygen will become plus, this becomes minus, and this way. To compensate this positive charge, the electrons will flow in this direction. That means this is facing the resonance effect, the other one is facing reverse conjugation, because this part is electron deficient part, it will try to pull the electrons, and that is why although this is common, this is felt by both the carbonyl group. So, one will show peak around 1745, the other one will show peak at 1850. So, whenever a common atom is shared by two oscillators or two functional groups, in this case ester, then this kind of situation will be there. The same is true with other compounds also. I will just tell some other examples also, not only anhydride. See, this primary amide will show two NH stretching bands. So, two NH stretching bands would be there. One around 3200, the other one around 3400. The normal is 3300. So, that is because this nitrogen is common atom of two NH bonds. So, in this case also you can see that there will be two peaks, because this atom is shared by two oscillators or two functional groups in terms of chemistry. So, this kind of situation will be there whenever you will find that the common atom is there and which is shared by two functional groups. Then Fermi resonance. Now, this is typical phenomenon in which a fundamental stretching mode of vibration interacts with overtone of bending vibration. So, whenever stretching mode of vibration, fundamental mode of vibration interacts with overtone of bending vibration. Now, overtone is, in this case, delta nu is double. Now, here this is 1337 is the carbon oxygen symmetrical stretching. Now, this falls in Raman line. 667 is bending mode. So, overtone is double of this, that is 1334, and this is 1337, which are very close. They intermix and you will get two peaks, one at 1285, the other one at 1388. So, this is known as Fermi resonance. So, you will get two peaks when they intermix. The second example is aldehydic CH. This also shows two peaks instead of one, and last example is this cyclopentanone, where CH2 bending overtone is interacting with carbonyl. So, CH bending overtone intermix with carbonyl stretching. So, carbonyl signal is splitted into two. Two peaks. So you'll find that carbonyl signal will be 1740, 1750. So 2 peaks will be there. Okay. So that is the Fermi resonance, a typical phenomenon in which fundamental mode of vibration intermix or interacts with overtone of bending vibration. Overtone where delta V is more than 1, it is plus 2 in this case. So when V is equal to 0, V is equal to 1, if this transition occurs, this is normal transition. V is equal to 0 to V is equal to 2, this is overtone. And delta E is equal to h nu. This equation says that the quantized energies you can calculate. We will see all those things maybe in next lecture, how to calculate those energies. Let us look at the last factor, that is ring strain. Now ring strain, the diagonal angle here is 60 degree, in this case it is 90 degree, in this case it is 105 something, and in this case it is nearly 120. So the normal diagonal angle is 109.5 degree. This is for tetrahedral carbon. Any deviation from this will cause a problem. Here it is planar almost, so this is different example, but in this case if you see the deviation is seen. More the deviation, you will have more frequency required for the stretching of the carbonyl. In case of 3-membered ring, 60 degree diagonal angle, if you make a compound, make a model of this compound, you will find that there is like banana type bonds would be there, like there will be much more ring strain involved in this. For 4-membered it will be slightly less, 5-membered it is slightly less, and in 6-membered it is practically not there. So these are the values. Wherever the ring strain is maximum, the compound has to overcome more energy to oscillate or to vibrate that bond, and that's why in this case 1820, 1785, 1745 and 1720, that is how the trend is. More the ring strain, more will be the frequency, and so on. So these are some of the factors which can influence the carbonyl stage or the other bands, other frequencies you can say. We will just see 1 or 2 examples, because examples are more important. These are all practice examples. C4H8O IR, no peak above 1500, UV transparent. So this is one example. Just to start with, we will do this small example and then we will stop. In next lecture we will have more examples on pure IR and if time permit UV IR combined problems, and we will revise some UV examples also during that. So Cn H2n plus 2, this is the formula for saturated hydrocarbon. So you have to find out the sites of unsaturation by comparing this formula to be fit in this. Oxygen you can neglect. Now some rules I will tell. Oxygen, either you put CH2 or neglect. Oxygen and sulfur, N CH X H. These are the rules. Now for this it will be C4H10. This is saturated hydrocarbon. For C4 carbon you have to subtract the one site of unsaturation. Why we are dividing it by 2? Because if I take ethylene, it can become ethane. It requires 2 hydrogen atoms. So that's why it amounts for one site of unsaturation. If it is triple bond, it will be 2 sites of unsaturation and so on. So one site of unsaturation. Now one site of unsaturation can be a double bond or it has to be alicyclic ring. It cannot be ketone. Ketone is ruled out because there is no such frequency. 1500, even this is ruled out. So this only one option is there. You have to put all your carbons in this format. So this is your tetrahydrofuran. So in this way you have to proceed. Maybe next lecture we will have more examples on pure IR. Some UV examples also we will revise, and then UV IR combined problems, and then we have to move to the NMR spectroscopy, proton NMR in your case, and then we will have to do the examples at the end. So next time once again I will revise few things because there are so many things to be told. So next time we will continue from here. Thank you very much for your attention in today's lecture.